Imagine being known as the most hated person in your community, a symbol of greed, dishonesty, and betrayal. That's who Zacchaeus was. But one encounter changed everything. This is the story of a man who climbed a tree, seeking a glimpse of Jesus, and ended up finding salvation. Stay tuned as we dive into Zacchaeus' powerful transformation and discover the lessons that still speak to us today. In the bustling city of Jericho lived Zacchaeus, a man who was wealthy but despised. Zacchaeus wasn't just any tax collector, he was the chief tax collector. In those times, tax collectors were known for taking advantage of their fellow Jews, collecting more than required and keeping the extra for themselves. Zacchaeus had grown rich from this dishonest practice, and as a result, he was viewed as a traitor, working for the Roman Empire and oppressing his own people. One day, word spread through the streets of Jericho that Jesus was passing through. Crowds began to gather, hoping to see the man who had performed miracles and spoken with authority like none before. Zacchaeus, too, was intrigued. Perhaps he had heard of Jesus' teachings, his kindness to outcasts, or maybe Zacchaeus felt an inner stirring, a desire for something more than his wealth. However, there was one problem. Zacchaeus was short and couldn't see over the crowd. Determined to catch a glimpse of Jesus, Zacchaeus did something unexpected. He ran ahead of the crowd and climbed a sycamore tree. For a wealthy man of his stature to climb a tree in public would have been seen as undignified, but Zacchaeus was desperate. From his perch, he watched as Jesus approached, moving through the throng of people. When Jesus reached the spot where Zacchaeus was, something incredible happened. Instead of walking past, Jesus stopped, looked up, and called Zacchaeus by name. "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." The crowd was stunned. Jesus was choosing to associate with a man they despised. Why would he want to stay with Zacchaeus, a known sinner? Despite the murmurs of disapproval from the crowd, Zacchaeus hurried down from the tree and joyfully welcomed Jesus into his home. During their time together, Zacchaeus experienced a profound change of heart. He stood up and declared to Jesus, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." This was no small gesture. Under Jewish law, if someone had defrauded another person, they were required to pay back the amount plus an additional 20%. Zacchaeus promised to repay 4 times. The amount showed true repentance and a willingness to go above and beyond what the law required. It was a sign that his heart had been transformed by Jesus' love and grace. In response, Jesus said, "Today, salvation has come to this house, because this man, too, is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." Jesus acknowledged Zacchaeus' genuine repentance and declared that he was now part of God's family. Zacchaeus' story teaches us that no one is beyond redemption. No matter how far we've strayed or how disliked we may feel, we are never too far from God's love and mercy. Zacchaeus' willingness to make amends for his wrongs and give back what he took unfairly reminds us that true repentance involves change and taking responsibility. Jesus doesn't turn away from the lost. He seeks them out. The story encourages us to be open to transformation, to trust in God's forgiveness, and to remember that every person has the potential to change.